All right, what's going on, fellas? I know this isn't the most technologically savvy method, but we're gonna have to deal with what we got for right now. So I want to go over 4v3, aka fast break, aka our triangle setup for defense. So 4v3, that means 4 offensive guys represented by these O's against our 3 guys, which are represented by X's. Obviously, we're setting up in a triangle here. You know, we're not we're not overextending. Our triangle we want to keep packed at around 8 to 10 yards. We don't want to expand out. The less guys we have on defense, the less we stray away from 6 guys, the less we can extend out compared with 6 guys. So for right now, the ball is going to be top right. So we have our point guy, our left guy, our right guy. Every single time we set up in a fast break, I should hear those 3 calls. So we should always know point, left, right. There should be no confusion about who's stopping the ball. So since this guy's point, he's going to stop ball 12, 13 yards out when this guy steps in. So he's not overextending. We're not getting spread out here. There's no point of firing out 15 to 20 yards when we're down a guy, because now you have to recover and run all the way in, and you're doing all this extra work for no reason. We're defenders. We're supposed to be a little bit lazy here. We want to make things as simple as possible. So with that being said, if this guy goes up and fires here, that means we have this defender covering this guy, but he's technically not just on him. That's what we have to understand. He's just in his zone right now because theoretically we're not all trapped on one single man. We are playing an area because we are man down, theoretically. So they have one more offensive guy. We can't match up man to man. But right now we have, an easy match. If this guy were to throw it here, this guy just pops out. There's no slide that needs to occur. However, the offense wants to make us move. So if this guy draws up, that means we have one open guy up top here and one kind of open guy right here. But when this guy slides up, this defender on the backside, see, he's the backside because he's not the next pass. This next pass is called adjacent. And that means this guy needs to be ready to press out this way because he is to the right and this guy is adjacent to the right, which makes him next in line. See, this guy is adjacent left, but there's technically nobody guarding him. So this guy, what's going to happen is, say this guy passes the ball, so boom, he moves it up top here, moves it to this guy. I'm going to put a 1 here to let you know that that's the first pass that's occurring. So pass number 1 is followed by slide number 1. So boom, this guy fires up. So we're going to go with slide number 1. So that's represented by the 1. This wasn't necessarily a slide. This is just more like you're stopping the ball here. We would say fire, but it's not, he's not really rotating. He's stopping the ball. The rotate starts when a guy has to move from his actual spot to a whole new spot, and that's when this occurs. So when he goes up, he stops the ball 12, 13 yards out. That means this guy down here now has to move this way because the ball is moving counterclockwise. So if we don't know these terms, clockwise, think about an old school clock, how the ones with the hands. It moves to the right, right? That would be clockwise. So when it goes like this, the rotation goes like this, it's clockwise. When it goes the opposite way of a clock, that would be counterclockwise. So when the hands move backwards, it's counterclockwise. Right now, the offense is spinning the ball counterclockwise. See, it's going the opposite way of a clock, which means our defense needs to go the opposite way of the offense to catch up. So now we have to go clockwise. See how that rotate goes like this? The offense is going like this. An easy way to think of this is, think of like you're chasing a dog around like a counter space, Say you're running around in circles here, you're chasing after him, you can't catch him. Well, what do you do to catch somebody that's faster than you? You turn around, right? And you meet him at a position rather than trying to catch up to something. That's what we're doing here. We're trying to catch up to something faster rather than this guy chase the ball around, which is impossible because a guy is not faster than the ball. It's just not possible. So in order to do that, you have to move around, catch the dog, spin the opposite way. So this guy fires up one, this guy is slide number two, and now this offensive guy, he was up top. Now he has to crash backside here, and he has to cover this passing lane here, but he's also got to be cognizant of this guy up top here. So now he is technically, covering two guys because he has to worry about the farthest guy away. Because remember, this guy now slid over here. So now he's in this spot, and this guy is now up here with the ball. So now let's say, okay, so we rotate good. This guy's up here. Ball's right here now. Say he spins the ball one more time. Boom, spins it down. So now who's going to be there? This guy, right? Because he slid over to help this guy initially up top. So now he presses out on the ball. So boom, presses out. He's not overextending here, not doing anything crazy. This guy is dropped down. And essentially he's helping his backside now. So it looks a little confusing right here. But I need to just explain like the general concept for you guys so that when we rep it out in practice, you guys don't look at me like we got 5 heads. So it's a little bit easier to see visually here. So I'm going to set it up really quick one more time here. So boom, offense, 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 defense, left, right, point. So ball is going to be top left this time. So Peter's going to yell fire. This guy stops the ball. So now, this time, the ball is going to rotate the other way. It's going to rotate clockwise. In defense, we do what? We do the opposite spin, right? So if they're going clockwise, we go counterclockwise. So our guy fired here. That means counterclockwise. He's next in line. So he needs to fire up 12, 13 yards, stop the ball there. Unless the guy's got an absolute cannon. That's the only time we'd overextend. But right now we're playing like regular guys. So he had the initial fire. He has this first slide. This guy has the second slide. So slide number 2. That was the first pass. So think about that. And then now that this guy was up top, he needs to come down here. He gets in this passing lane because the ball's over up top here now. So his passing lane threat is this guy, and his next man threat is this guy. So he's adjacent, he's 2-man away, so he has to be in this guy's passing lane. So see how he can cover 2 guys at once. If he moves down here, he can be right in the middle of this lane, but also run up here if needed. That's how you cover 2 guys at once. So you guys can see how that rotation works. So we'll spin the ball one more time. We're still going clockwise here on offense. So this defender is already slid over. So he's just popping out a little bit here, making sure that he doesn't run by. This defenseman is already flew down in this passing lane. So now this adjacent guy is almost covered, but this guy is also covering this adjacent lane now. So, I hope that makes sense. As I said, we're going to go over it in person to make it a little bit easier, but right now we got to just go over basic stuff, and we'll add on to this. We'll do the 5v4, we'll do 3v2s off the same concept, but this is the easiest concept to explain first.